I think about people at a dead stop a lot. I met with a friend this past week who is kind of at a dead stop in his life. His last thing didn't work out. He's in that in-between period where he like doesn't really know what to do. There's no momentum. When you have no momentum, how do you create momentum?
Yes.
It's fucking hard,
It's so
man.
hard.
And honestly, I think most people are zombie walking through life in that spot. They just don't have any momentum. You just watch the streets, man. They're like going to, work the counter at Starbucks or going to work at their job. And they're just like kind of in this mundane rhythm of life.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not rising above whatever rhythm of life they're in. Like you and I are constantly striving, like we're in this rhythm, but we're trying to expand that rhythm, right? We're trying to bring more into that rhythm. We're trying to become more. And that is because we have some level of momentum. It allows us to like embody that energy. And so I look at somebody at a dead stop. I'm like, how do you get out of the spot you're in so that when I have this conversation with you next year, you're not in the same exact spot.
Yeah.
And that's where I think deadlines can be helpful as well.
Yeah.
For example, when my brother was struggling and he was in between jobs, I was like, just do 75 hard. I don't know if you've heard of 75 hard. It's like this online challenge, work out twice a day, drink a gallon of water, read 10 pages of a book, blah, blah, blah. Why did I have him do that? Because he was at a dead stop. And the 75 days gave him a deadline, one, but it really gave him a daily deadline. And two, it created some level of momentum in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave him the ability to say, when I say I'm going to do a thing, I can do a thing. And that is the hugest value of momentum.
That's the most important muscle to work out.
Because then you're like, well,
anything.
If I could do that, then if I say I'm going to go get a job, I can go get a job. Or if I say I'm going to try to get somebody to pay me for a photo shoot, I know that I'm going to do what it takes to get somebody to pay me for a photo shoot. So I just answered my own question. If you're at a dead stop, like,
welcome to the Faiez show, people.
Yeah, if you're at a dead stop, you need to make and keep baby promises to yourself.
The other thing is also remembering, like, it's going to be hard to get moving again.
Yeah.
So offer yourself, we always talk about grace. Offer yourself a little grace. Acknowledge that it's going to be hard. And what do we always say? You're going to be able to do it. I think about the old strongman competitions where they got to fucking pull that like bus on the rope.
Yeah.
Like getting it started is just like insane. Their bodies are just like contracted and red and muscles are bulging and everything is fucking popping out. And then all of a sudden, once they get it going,
it's moving.
They're moving.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah. So just remember that. Like once you get moving, it's going to be fine. But those first couple steps are definitely going to be tough.
I also think that you're probably going to fail.
For sure.
You're going to say, I'm going to do this for 30 days straight. And for myself, I can't tell you the number of times I've tried to keep a commitment to myself and fallen short. But what I learned over time is I have to keep trying until I hit the goal. Mm-hmm. Because if I abandon the goal, then subconsciously I'm telling myself that if I fail at a thing a number of times, then it's okay for me to just walk away from it and pick something else to make myself feel good.
Right. I think it's also important. Like, I know for me, we were talking about workouts to start, and my big thing since having kids is like remaining consistent with my workouts. Sure, I can easily make the excuse that I have kids and it's tough to do that. I could also get on myself about being like, fuck, I didn't get 5 a.m. workouts this week. So I try to land in that like nice middle zone, of not comfort, but not chaos in my mind of like, okay, sure, I didn't get my 4 or 5 a.m. workouts for the last 6 months, but what did I get done? Did I get at least like 2 in, So yes, I failed at the ultimate goal, but where can you actually look and pull pieces from it that you're like, okay, I did accomplish this. What can I build off of? Like, where are my building blocks here? Of, okay, I did do a 5 a.m. workout. Now, like my next sort of iteration of this goal has been, okay, can I get a weekend workout in as well? Because then I have to do less during the week. And if I'm finding that it's more difficult to do a workout during the week, let's try to squeeze one in on the weekend. So I think it's important to sort of have different deviations of your goals, not completely abandoning them or not completely changing them just to suit your failures, but also just to make sure that you are looking at the building blocks that you have started and not just like giving up on those.
Yeah, I think chunking them down is helpful. So if the goal was 5 and you did 2, that's a win. Well, can I do 2 workouts again next week? Could I do 3 workouts next month? And that's kind of going back to what we originally talked about, which is consistency is more valuable than Herculean efforts every once in a while.
Accomplishing your goals isn't about, or getting to a destination or getting, to that big goal isn't so much about the one big Herculean effort. It's about the sort of mundane, monotonous little ones over the course of a long period of time.
Long period. And being able to like pull out and actually look at, okay, am I doing better than I was? And actually like pulling out. And I want to caveat this with saying you have to be honest with yourself, right? There have been periods of my life where I'll look at, for example, my fitness year over year or my money, right? Am I making more money than I was the year prior or 2 years prior? If I didn't improve, I have to not justify that to myself.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe in the value of uncomfortable emotions. If I look and be like literally earlier this week, I was reviewing, okay, what were the goals that I came into 2024 with? Like I have them pasted on my wall. And I'm like, okay, how am I measuring up? We're going into the last quarter of the year. And I had to earnestly look at, I had a goal to run a 5K in 25 minutes. And I'm like, oh, I have not been working on that one.
What is that, about an 8-minute mile?
It's 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Which, like, whatever. If you're a runner, that's not fast. But if you're me, that's
if you
hard.
have tree trunks for legs, that is fast.
Yeah, if you're not a runner, it's hard. I'm not an 8-minute mile guy.
That's actually one of my pseudo goals all the time when I do get on the treadmill. I'm like, all right, let's see if I can get an 8-minute mile today. And how many miles?
I could get 1 8-minute mile.
I can do,
and then fall over.
I can do 3 to 4 right now. I did a 5 mile the other day, but it was at like an 8:45 pace.
Yeah.
So
maybe your goal would be 22 minutes or something like that.
It might still be 25 minutes. Yeah. My goal right now is to do 5 miles at an 8-minute pace, which I had hit prior to kids, and then kids happened, and then less running.
So the point being is that I had to not make an excuse for myself this weekend and be like, well, my goals shifted because, or, oh, well, I ended up prioritizing this because it was more important. Maybe I sat down and said, I had to earnestly sit with myself and say, am I going to mark this as an F for failed? Didn't accomplish? And that could be reasonable. I could have made that choice. I could be like, no, I did legitimately prioritize other things. Or do I have 4 months to get after this and keep my commitment to myself?
I think as in everything else, there's just so much nuance to goal setting and accomplishing, and different variables come in. And I think that's, like you said, the most important thing is being honest with yourself.
100%.
Really taking evaluation, taking account of all the things that happened in the last month or the last week or whatever, and saying, okay, give yourself a grade. It doesn't have to be F or A. You can do a B or a C. It's fine.
Totally.
And then decide if you want to improve on that or not.
100%. I love that.
Yeah.
If you just have the like what we were saying earlier about the intention of each day, or, in the last episode we talked about not doing more towards your product, but actually taking the time to evaluate the mistakes or the learning lessons, which people often just skirt over and continue doing what they're doing. It is actually just grading yourself.
Yeah.
Like you just said, that's it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, just grade. Yeah.
That is building self-awareness.
Yeah.
You do that over and over and over and over and over again. You have a habit of that. Your behavior changes.
Yeah.
Because some days you're going to give yourself an A. You're going to be like, oh, that felt good. I want to do more of that. And other days you're going to give yourself a fucking D and you're going to be like, I don't like how that feels.